Hello, and happy Straturday, friends. Psyberry here with another Darkest Dungeon How to Use guide. Before I get started today, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this guide with a friend. Alright, let's get down to business. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into how to play the Janissary. Janissary was released January 29th of this year, 2021, and it was last updated March 8th of 2021. The canon name of the Janissary is Mehmed. The credits, let's go over those real quick. Shay did design and the sounds. Snorlaxo also did the design and did the coding. Ebony Betty and Black Templar number 8655 did concept work. Turk MC did the art. 54NBB did the animation. Kat worked on the writing and testing. And Sasiji assisted with the code. So the Janissary is kind of an interesting character. You can be in a lot of different ranks, doing a lot of different things. So once we get to the combat skills, we'll kind of see how varied and diverse and different you can play him than other ways. But first, like always, we're going to start with the base stats. The max HP at Resolve level 1 is 23. This will grow to a 39 at Resolve level 5. 23 I consider at opening level to be right in the center of average HP. However, it has a slower growth than normal. It grows at 4 HP a level. This is very comparable to the Plague Doctor's HP. So if that bugs you, find a way to kit him that benefits from that. Add to his HP if that bugs you, or give him prot, like I've done with this, or give him lots of dodge. Speaking of dodge, at Resolve level 1, his dodge is 7, and this progresses all the way to a 27 at Resolve level 5. This is slightly above average. This is very comparable to Shield Breaker's dodge. It's actually 1 below it the entire way up. And I consider the range of 5 to 25 to be average. So 7 to 27, those 2 points are just icing on the cake. The prot is normal at 0, unless you kit him otherwise, like I have done on this one. The speed is actually pretty good. He'll start at a 5, and he'll progress to a 6 speed at 3rd Resolve, and progress to a 7 speed at 5th Resolve. This is definitely above average. This is way above average. It's Highwayman speed, Houndmaster, Antiquarian. They all have the same speed stat. So he's going to go first a decent chunk, and he's reliable enough that he's always going to, let's say, unless you kit weirdly, always going to outspeed the Crusader, if that's relevant, or people like that. The accuracy mod is a 0, just like every other class that I see. The crit is great. It starts at a 5%, and then it progresses to a 9% at the final Resolve. This is the same crit progression as a Hellion, also the Highwayman. So he's going to get a lot of crits, especially on some of his abilities that might have a high crit modifier. We'll get to those later. And finally, his damage is a 4 to 8 at first Resolve, and it'll progress all the way to a 7 to 14 at final Resolve. This is typical backline damage. It's exactly the same, mechanically speaking, to Grave Robber and Vestal. Grave Robber has some significant differences and uniqueness around that damage, and so does he, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So starting with his combat skills, we're going to start with the first of them, Arquebus Shot. Arquebus Shot can be used from the 3rd or 4th rank, and can be used to target any opponent on the opposing side. It's a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 90. It does full damage, and has a crit modifier of plus 1%. Now, if you're targeting the enemy in position 4, This is going to do an additional 15% damage, for a total of 115% damage against that position 4 enemy. If you're targeting the enemy in the front, it's going to do, 85% damage instead. So this has got some unique tech to take out specific spots on that opposite side, but it is also good enough to work on any enemy square you want. Yeah, so it's like a Musketeer plus from that 4th slot. The second ability is Brace the Gun. This is only usable from rank 4, and it is a self buff. So if you use this, it is going to give you an armor piercing plus 33% buff if in position 4, a plus 2% crit if in position 4, and a plus 10 accuracy if in position 4. So thematically, he sets up the brace, braces the gun, and he's there to accurately aim and shoot people. Now, these buffs last until the end of the combat. You use this once. These buffs apply as long as you are in position 4 until the end of combat. So if that's the way you want to play the Janissary, this is a good way to do it. It's very reminiscent of like some of the Musketeer and Arbalists trinkets, if that makes sense. Some of those positional to trinkets, only this is a setup turn, and you don't have to worry about it. You can equip trinkets to other tactics. The third ability is Thin the Herd. It is usable from rank 2, 3, or 4, and it targets both the 2nd and 3rd rank on the opposing side. This is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 85, a damage modifier of negative 60%, and a crit mod of negative 3%. That negative crit mod is standard with cleaving attacks. A lot of them have negative crit mods, especially at Resolve level 1. So this might actually progress to a positive one, which is pretty good. And what it'll do is it's going to debuff those targets aside from damage. It's going to lower their dodge by 8. And it's going to add to their crits received chance by 4. So this is a good way to soften up middle targets. I don't use this a lot. I typically like to use him to use some of his other skills over here and set up for like one-shot kills, focus fire on specific enemies. But if you have a cleave group, or this somehow benefits you, if that maybe that dodge is a problem, go ahead and use this move. His fourth ability is Tempered Slash. It is usable from rank 1 or 2, and you may target rank 1 or 2 on the opposing side. This is a melee attack with an accuracy base of 85, a damage modifier of plus 15%, and a crit modifier of 3%. So, just like Arquebus Shot, this is not doing 100% damage. If you were using Arquebus Shot to take out that position 4 enemy, this is doing 115% damage. So that backline level damage is a little misleading if you use him right. If you use him right, you're going to get more equivalent to, let's say, Bounty Hunter damage rather than Highwayman damage. So it's, I'm sorry, not Highwayman, Grave Robber. You're going to get more akin to Bounty Hunter damage out of him, minus the mark. So that extra 15%, if you're using it right, can really help. I prefer using Tempered Slash a lot. That'll probably be on my kit when I take him out for a spin. His fifth ability is Song of Valor. It is usable from any rank, and it targets the entire party. What it's going to do is it's going to reduce their stress by 3, and it is going to buff you for plus 20% stress relief skills. I believe this buff lasts a couple of rounds, so if you have to continually use this a few times in a combat, you'll find it's going to get more and more rewarding as you do. Just keep in mind that it's one less person killing folks, so use it smart. His sixth ability is One Man Band. This is usable from rank 1 or 2, and it is another that targets your entire party. What it's going to do is it's going to buff your party for plus 4 accuracy, plus 7% damage, and if they are being guarded, it's going to add 2 to their speed, and if they're being guarded, it's going to add 3% to their crit. Now, this doesn't matter if they're being guarded by him or someone else. If they're being guarded, it's going to add to their stats in that way. But this is, that is 4 great things to be buffing. Honestly, the only thing missing here is dodge. And you can get that from other means. So this is a really nifty skill that I should probably use more than I do. And it's also going to buff himself for minus 10% stress gained for a few rounds. And his 7th combat skill, Brothers in Arms. This is usable from rank 1 or 2, and you select an ally. You guard that ally, and it says here you can guard many heroes at once. I haven't utilized it in such a way, but you conceivably can select a new hero every turn and just add to a constant flowing list of people you're guarding and keep that riposte up. But it's going to activate riposte. It's going to give you a plus 1% crit on that riposte, and it's going to buff yourself for 10% prot. The riposte is pretty strong. Minus 20% riposte damage for a level 1 riposte. This is a really strong move, and it's really hard to find. I can only think of a few other classes that set up riposte and set up a guard with the same move. The Crystalline Herald comes to mind as the only other person I know of that can do that. So this is going to get a lot of use, especially for me. I love riposte, so this is going to be definitely on my kit when I take him out into a dungeon a little bit later. Now, looking at his camping skills, he's got the generic Encourage, Wound Care, and Pep Talk. And the first of his camping skills is actually the same marching plan that comes from the Arbalist. It is a time cost 3 marching plan. All companions are going to get a plus 2 speed for the next 4 battles. The next and the unique camping skill here is Sultan's Tale. It is a time cost 0 camping skill, and you select a companion, they heal for 5 stress. You may use this 3 times per camp. So if you think about it like this, he's telling stories of old. He's a good storyteller, and he's been well-traveled guarding people. So he's just going to tell stories to people and just make the camp a little bit better. He's going to get a free up to 15% stress heal every time you camp. That's really good. I will never not select this. This is not to be overlooked. His third camping skill is Brothers of the Spoon. It is a time cost 4 camping skill. You select the party, and you heal 30% of all of their HP, and you gain a random buff for 4 battles. There used to be a list of these buffs. I didn't look them up. Well, I advise you, if you're curious about these buffs, they're pretty good. If I remember right, I would use this ability and see what kind of comes out of it. I apologize for missing that in my notes. The fourth camping skill is Beats of the Devul. It is a time cost 4 ability, and you basically target the party. They're going to get a buff for plus 15% stress heal received for the next 4 battles. And they're also going to heal 15 stress. Alright, what else do we need to think about here? His crit effect will boost his speed. I believe it's by 2 every time he gets a critical hit, which should happen a considerable amount of times because of his high crit, and the fact that something like Tempered Slash here has a crit mod of its own. You're going to crit a lot. Now, as far as party compositions around this character, my suggestion would be to think about their other party members that might benefit from a character like this. If you're going to use, for instance, if you're going to use something like this, and you stay in that back rank, well, you obviously need a healer who can function from anywhere but rank 4, and you know that he's going to be capable of stress healing himself and everybody else, so he's got that covered. Maybe don't bring a Jester. Maybe bring some other healer in position 3. If you are going to bring Brothers in Arms specifically, try and target other party members that are squishy and need a guardian, or someone who's going to really, really benefit from such. The succubus loves to be guarded. She's a great target here. Also, if you're going to use one-man band, you can probably use someone like the Philomath class and have her set up a guard, force a guard on him, and have him buff everyone, including her. She will benefit a lot from that speed and crit bonus. And you have Song of Valor if her stress gets way out of control, but you kind of want it to be high. So yeah, my suggestion here would be to definitely pick out other party members that benefit greatly from a riposte guardian like him, and see what happens. There's a lot of people with surprising synergy with this class. Now, as far as quirks go, you can go a lot of different ways, and it really depends on how you like to use him. For me, I like to use him up front, so you'll notice that between this melee riposte and this melee tempered slash, he's doing a lot of melee damage. If I wasn't worried about being moved around, this is what I typically go out with. If I weren't worried about like being shuffled, I would be an all melee build, and thus I would start kitting to that. The safe ways to go here, give him stuff like Luminous. If you take him to fight the Corvid, Corvid's Grace is great on him. Hard Skinned is also good, especially if you're using him as a guardian. The more prot, the better. And other mentions on Trinket specifically, if you are using Brace the Gun and you are afraid of being moved out of position 4, use something like this. This is why I have this specific trinket on him right now. The heavy boots are really good for getting, for staying in position. If you're afraid you're going to get pulled out of position 4 by some occultist or some cultist somewhere, this is probably your best bet at saving you from that. I mean, he's got a decent move resist as it is, but doubling it, I ain't going to look the other way on that. Speaking of trinkets, let's start looking at the ones I have, anyway, custom trinkets. The first of which is his crystalline trinket, Infected Ladle. It's going to add 100% to the restoration amount versus guarded. It's going to add 20% to the healing received, and when he uses a friendly skill, it's going to heal 1 point a round for 1 round. If this hero was hit, so if the Janissary was hit, he will blight himself for 2 points a round for 3 rounds. So this is kind of an interesting way to give restoration healing while you're guarding people, and to boost your healing received. So it's a kind of fun way to work with his guard mechanics. The rare trinket I have here is the Box of Shrapnel. So, when you use Thin the Herd, it's going to reduce the bleed skill chance by 30%. When you use ranged skills, it's going to add 8% to your crit, but it's going to do less damage. It's going to do negative 25% damage. And on a ranged attack hit, it will cause bleed. And this bleed is balanced for endgame, so 140% base is pretty comparable to a lot of skills at endgame. So if you're going to use this, maybe add to the bleed skill chance, because Thin the Herd specifically is being lowered here. His uncommon trinket is Brass Cauldron. It's going to add 25% to his stress relief skills while camping, and add 25% to his healing skills while camping, but he will consume 50% more food. So if you have enough food to get through your dungeon, and it's not a concern, maybe this might be worth it to you, especially if you're trying to get every little bit you can out of his stress healing camping skills, of which he's got a few really good ones. His second uncommon trinket is Ornate Dombek. It's going to boost his stress relief skills by 20%, but it disables Brother-in-Arms. Keep in mind, however, Brothers-in-Arms is the only way he uses riposte. So if you're going to do that, keep in mind you're never going to riposte anything. And be okay with that. Use him as a stress healer and backline damage dealer, or whatever it might be. But this is a good way to buff his stress relief skills. I would probably, because that Brothers in Arms disabled does not agree with me, I go a different way, but this is a good trinket nonetheless. And his common trinket is the Sturdy Whetstone. It adds plus 3% to crit with melee skills, and his melee skills receive a plus 20% armor piercing boost, all at the cost of minus 2 speed. Minus 2 speed takes his speed from good to average, so it's not even that bad. You're still gonna get some outspeeds, especially on a lot of enemies, especially in like the Cove and such. So yeah, really not that problematic, and actually pretty good for a common trinket. There are better, obviously. So, let's see. The ones that I haven't gone over are here. The very rare trinket, Sultan's Honor. I'm going to use this here in a little bit. It adds plus 10 to dodge when guarding, and your riposte does an extra 25% damage. However, when you are not guarding, you receive 15% more damage. This is a nice way to, 1, improve your dodge. The stipulation of when guarding doesn't bother me too much, because that's always my turn 1 with him anyway. But here in the second slot, what are you going to do? I normally am stuck choosing between more dodge or stress relief skill boosting with something like the Ancestor's Scroll. Something like that. But I'm going this way today. So, have picked out a quest to hopefully go on. We are going to try and get it done to the best of our ability. This party should work okay. Yeah, I don't see any problems. I think healing might be the only thing we're short on.
I always wondered what became of the unfortunate little waif.
So it's not important to you guys to know that I'm going on the Siren quest. I just had a trinket that I don't have yet, so I'm gonna go and try and get it. However, I'm just here for combats. I'm just here
Machinations spring to
show
life
him off.
with a singular purpose.
Oh my god. All the way to this dead end for no reason.
Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
Son of a... Alright, Janissary. What do we got going on over here? Hey, it's a combat, and we did get a shuffle. See? This is why I have Archivist Shot. At least I think I put it on him. I hope I put it on him. Alright, let's mark. Yep, Archivist Shot. Could be worse. God damn it. Well, at least I can heal stun. Oh, your turn came first. Never mind. That is so frustrating, man. Alright. Goodbye, sir.
Their formation is broken.
Goodbye.
Maintain the offensive.
Alright. I guess let's mark you. It's not serving a purpose right now because my musketeer is way up here. But... Hey, Alright, I've got some stress damage on these folks, so might as well use Song of Valor while we're at it. Now, I liken that to a reliable Houndmaster howling heal, whatever that move's called. So, very cool to me. It does a little less as you level up, but maybe by 1 at every other level or so. So it's barely noticeable. And being that it's more reliable, it's a good payoff.
Back to the pit.
All right.
Triumphant pride precipitates a
What
dizzying fall.
Yeah. Damn. Fishmen. Fishmen. What? How dare you bleed that sound effect over into my... Oh. Alright. I forgot to switch my party around. You know what? Worth it. I've got a stress healer. Worth it.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Oh no, they're surprised this time. Just the thought of that, the concept of them being surprised the second time. Oh jeez. Okay, yeah. Alright, brothers in arms. Best person I'm gonna guard is my sweet amethyst over here. Don't die. Don't die.
Destroy.
Get rid of you, because you're troublesome. We are going to mark you, even though you're too far forward currently. Aha! Get wrecked by my expert riposte. Fun, fun, fun. Alright. See if I can move you to rank 2. Yeah! That musketeer's gonna have a field day with you, bro. Got armor piercing on that base.
The onslaught. Destroy them
Oh,
all.
wait a minute. How much armor piercing you got? Supposedly 20? Oh, you have 58 right now. That's okay. That makes sense. I normally don't spam that move so often, but I kind of want to get their stress a little more manageable before I start wrecking fools.
Well struck.
Oh, that crit. Is that because... Nope. I had a different buff. Alright. Fun, fun, fun. Really not that... You're not equipped for rank 3 is what I'm getting at here. There it is. There it is. The crit kill and the KO.
The fiend falls. A faint hope blossoms.
I like the pose he does when he lunges forward with the blade, by the way. He's super unique as he's leaping into the fray there. Not a lot of people go high. Most people go low for speed. But he's like leaping at them. It's so cool. Anyway.
The darkness holds
God,
much
I
worse
didn't see
than
that.
mere trickery
Fight pop up.
and boogeyman.
Well, here's a fight. It's the Jester. Alright. You know what? I was gonna change his moves around and show off that buff move. Well, I guess I'm showing 4 combats. I'll defend you. We are going to shoost you. Well... You know what? You're going to spend all your time healing right now. No, you're not. I want him dead next turn. This is where it happens. Aha! Get wrecked, Spider Pants.
Another one.
Haha! The crit is awesome. Hey. Oh. You're an
Reeling,
asshole.
gasping,
Why did you do that?
taken over the edge into madness.
Jerk. Now I'm gonna overkill you. Actually... Oh no! Everybody's bleeding and blighted now. That's always good. Great. Choosing your own damn moves. Overkill!
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
I missed that from Final Fantasy X. That always felt good.
As victories mount,
Overkill.
so too will resistance.
Oh my god. You guys. Everything's fine now. Alright. You are going to use that instead. And I'm going to switch my party around because I kind of want you to leap forward at some point. It's not worth dousing
Glittering
again,
gold,
just to light up. for the
trinkets
next
and
room.
baubles, paid for in blood.
Barely got anywhere in this dungeon. Alright. Combat 4. Here we come. No scout. Alright. Here it is. Alright, we are going to hit you. Yeah, there we go. Gotta move back. Alright. First of all, defend you. So I can get that buff move to be powered up. Probably should have killed you. But common sense doesn't grow on trees. I didn't have enough. Alright. Let's mark you then, at least. Leave her alone, man. Keep your goddamn grabby hands away from the milkmaid. You jerk. FKO. Alright, one-man band, here we go.
A brilliant confluence of
buffs, man.
skill and purpose.
Oh, plus 3 speed, wild guarded. Technically affects it to everybody, but it's effective while they're being guarded. That 11% damage, 7% accuracy. Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy. It's like a jester buff, but it's coming from the same person who's also riposte guarding. You know what I mean? It's a great
Seize this
synergy of
momentum.
support.
Push on to the task's end.
Alright, that is all we have time for. Again, check out the Janissary. It's great fun, and for the little bit that I didn't know here about the random buff, there's probably an answer for that on the Steam page. If not, just use the camping skill, and it'll become really apparent really quick. Again, thanks for watching. We're going to have another Saturday video on next Saturday, and upcoming here on Wednesday, we're going to have another Let's Play video, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Stay frosty.